I'm always
I'm
ready.
always
I was
ready.
born ready.
I was born.
Gotta
All
get ready.
right. Hello, everybody. Come on in. We are going to have a great conversation tonight. So we are just going to wait a few minutes. I know it's a little before 8 o'clock. So we're just going to wait a few minutes while we get everything set up and get it shared to our pages. All right, I have shared. Okay, so welcome.
Welcome.
Oh,
So we're gonna wait a few more minutes
okay.
while y'all come on in the room. Good conversation. Talking about
Yes, it is.
quarantine with Bay.
Oh, quarantine is just quarantine will
Make you a breaking.
make you or break
I'm telling you, it will make you or break you.
That's right.
you.
hmm I have heard some stories, so we're gonna
Mm.
see.
Oh,
We have a couple.
yeah.
We are gonna talk about it tonight. How this quarantine has impacted relationships. Gonna give it one more minute.
Okay.
So we're gonna start on time, and whoever is not here, you can join us or catch the replay. Come on in. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's up? What's up?
Mhm.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. I am excited about tonight's conversation. If this is your first time joining Relationship Talks, my name is Shavon Carter. I am the You Relationship Coach and founder of Walking in Wholeness LLC, which means I am passionate about all things concerning relationships, especially the relationship that you have with yourself. I'm also the founder of Purpose Publishing Company, which is a company that I founded to help first-time authors publish their books so that their voices can be heard. And tonight I have two special guests who are the hosts of the podcast, the new podcast, His and Her View, or Hers and His View.
Mostly his and her view.
Actually, hers in his view.
Mr. Gary Tripp Jr. and Miss Kesia Thompson. Welcome.
Welcome,
Welcome.
welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
First, my lady.
My name is Kesia, and we came together and formed a podcast, Her View versus His View. It's an ability to be able to come in and kind of, be a part of our lives with our everyday discussions that we have about just different views about relationships, views about finances, views about divorce,
Health.
views about health, just again, all types of different discussions, and we wanted you guys to be a part of our life and see these crazy conversations that we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My name is Tripp, and it's his and her view, and depending on how you want to spin it. But we just talk about whatever because in our personal relationship, we always talking to each other. Just talk about whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
It don't matter what we see. We might see a lizard crossing the road. We're gonna talk about that lizard and why his tail's short. It don't matter.
Right.
And kick him in the behind, you know. I mean, so we just figured we'll add that to the podcast, and we just like to entertain people because we entertain each other.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Okay, all right, and I love it. And listen, you all have to check out this podcast. I've listened to a few episodes already, and I love it. It's on Spotify, and I'll post it after this live is over, so that you can go over and listen to the episodes. You definitely will enjoy it. It's a vibe. They're real chill, but it's some really good conversation. So please check it out after this Facebook Live. So tonight we're going to talk about relationships during this quarantine and how the quarantine has impacted relationships. And last week I talked about quarantine dating. So I thought it would be, fitting for us to talk about, well, how in the world has this quarantine affected those who are already in a relationship, whether married or living together, just coupled up during this time? How has this impacted you? So I want to start with you all. How would you say that being in this quarantine about 6 months now, how has this impacted your relationship?
You want to go first?
No, you go.
I go? Well, it's no doubt been an unexpected challenge,
Okay.
of course. And it no doubt put us in almost kind of put you in a box sometimes, so to speak, because things are not open, and so you really get to see what your relationship is made out of.
Mm.
You see, and when you always around each other a little more than normal,
Mm-hmm.
rather you're not out of the house as much for the job or career, or you're not able to run to restaurants and chill out and whatever. So it I must say it tested.
Okay.
It was a test that was unexpected, but for me, in my mind, I knew we could get past it and grow from it.
Mm.
For me, I knew, because I know where our communication is.
Right.
I know our communication is pretty strong,
It is.
and that really helps a relationship.
But I was looking out the window and I was saying, help me. Get me out this house. Yeah, like anybody can help me.
Well, she's a busybody. She
I
likes to
am.
run.
I do.
So
And it was very, very hard to just stay at home, stay at home, but not so much stay at home to where I didn't enjoy being at home. It was stay at home with all of the things that I'm used to doing, getting up, going to work, going to the store, just being sociable. It was very, very difficult being able to just sit in one place and stay there. So, but it was good. We were able to just, read some books, look at some TV shows, and
we started a business.
we started a business. Yeah. So, we just kept busy.
Okay. So keeping
I
this.
was asking for some help.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a pretty good foundation of, like you said, communication and just being able to mesh well with each other. How was this developed? Like, how long have you been together? How did you all meet? How did you develop this type of relationship?
Let's see. First of all, we dated in high school,
Okay.
so we go way back to the 90s.
Okay.
Believe it or not. She went to one rival school. I hate to really say the name.
Oh, Lord. Lord. we raised Vikings over here.
And of course, I went to the better school across the way,
Yes.
raised Vikings.
Yes.
So so we knew each other for a long time, and we were friends even back then.
Right.
And of course, you grow up, life takes you separate ways, and then we came back into a friendship probably about 13 years ago.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, as friends, you know, and just as friends, nothing else. And because I was in Atlanta, she was here in Jacksonville.
Mhm.
So, and we're just friends. So it's been a while. It's been some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've really had some time to get to know each other and maybe even relearn each other because, you know, from high school to now being in our 40s, you know, there's a lot to discover about each other, even with knowing each other for a long period of time. So it sounds like you've done the work to do that. Okay. All right. Gotcha. So in your podcast, you did a podcast episode about quarantine dating, which I'm not quarantine dating, but relationships and during this quarantine and how to survive. And it was so interesting. I didn't know before I reached out to you all that you had done that. So it was so timely for us to have this conversation. So one of the things that you talked about was a relationship can struggle or grow during this pandemic. So tell us a little bit more about that. How is that possible?
Well, either struggle or grow. We were able to grow together during this time. Again, isolation, being able to put our minds together, come up with a business, talk about future work with this podcast. And it was just, us being able to just sit and listen to one another. I think really listening to, your spouse, your significant other is important because you can really get a good understanding of what future plans, where their growth is going, and trying to see if where you're trying to go is going to be a good place for him to go or her, whoever it is. So we were able to just sit back and just have, and again, we just love to talk, just deep, profound conversations about, okay, hey, we only have probably about 40 something summers left in our life. And because we have this time, what are we going to do with it? How are we going to live? How are we going to be able to make an impact on others? That's very important to us. When we get up in the morning, we constantly listen to, different speeches about, how to make yourself better, how you can make other people better. And that is very important to us to just make sure that we have an impact on the community. We have an impact on people's lives every day, whether it's in our profession or outside of our profession.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know how with us is a little struggle, but because like I said, we were still with her career. She had to stay home the first 30 days or so.
Yeah, 30, 45 days.
30, 45 days.
Mhm.
And but with me, I was still out and going because of my profession.
Mhm.
But I was still kind of used to coming home and getting a few hours to myself.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always love to see her come through the door, not the opposite way around. You see what I'm saying? I like to do stuff chilling on the sofa, doing what I do, and then she come through the door, not me come in the house and she me like, "What's up?" So and I ain't got that time. I ain't got them 2 or 3 hours to myself. You see what
Right. Yeah.
So that was a little struggle because I have to unwind and and I'm a man that battles depression. So I have to unwind a certain kind of way. But I can give her the best of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that switched. I couldn't unwind because guess what? She already at the goddamn house. Because of Corona.
Chilling, right?
COVID, my bad. Why I say Corona? Because of COVID. She already at the house. So I gotta switch it up.
Yeah.
Try to unwind with her already there. You see what I'm saying? It was a challenge for me.
Yeah.
Because again, I still got to give her the best of me. In a sense. I'm coming home. I can't, you see what I'm saying? So I gotta leave some stuff at the door. So now that that's switched up, it was a struggle, but I appreciate it, so to speak, because it took me to another level, dealing not only with my depression, but just reaching deep within just to give her more emotion.
So let's talk about that because, you know, with this situation, it throws everything off, right? So it takes you out of your routine. So you have to adjust to a new normal and you're just trying to figure out how do I navigate, you know, during these times. We don't know how long we're going to be in this type of situation. So what are some things that you did to make an adjustment? Like, how did you do that?
Well, again, you know, we did the, you know, the book.
We definitely read. We, you know, we like playing games. We like talking trash to each other, playing two people spades. We just talking trash, you know. We talk a lot about different things, more things. And we try to set the mood for each other. You know what I'm saying? Try to set the mood for each other. Whether she cooking or I'm cooking, or you know, we cut the TV off and we just talk and just vibe off each other more. And you know, and we still try to go out, even though places wasn't open. We might, you know, find somewhere to go where we cruise up the coastline.
Just get in the car and ride.
Get in the car and ride. Cut on some music and just vibe in the evening sometimes. You know, because riding up the coast in Florida, you know, it's A1A or whatever. And you just ride, you know, Ponte Vedra area. You know, you can ride to Daytona and turn around. I mean, you just have a good time. Listening to music, vibing, you know. Sometimes we'll ride out to the beach, windows down, and we got the music blasting, and we both in there dancing.
Or DJing.
Or DJing.
You know,
exactly.
Different times
so
doing DJs.
We just did different things that, you know, just opened our eyes to things that we want to continue to do, even if the COVID ain't even here no more.
Right. I think it was the simplicity of things, you know, not having the hustle and the bustle of, you know, the everyday norm. Going out to certain nightclubs together, because we do everything together. We didn't have that anymore. So we had to make our own, you know, DJ session in the car and listen to, you know, our different, you know, genres of music. So, but it was the simplicity of it. One of the things that I did talk about was the coexisting. I don't know if that's a topic that you wanted to discuss, but being able to coexist, being able to grow with the other person is very important. You know, just having an understanding of, again, where it is that their mindset is and where it is that they're wanting to grow is extremely important. And that's one of the things that we were able to do during the pandemic, was to learn how to coexist. You know, where you can't, there's nowhere to run. You have to be able to either do it or not do it. And if you're not going to do it, that's kind of what we were saying earlier about, it's kind of going to make you or break you. You know, if you do it, then you know, hey, I'm in it for the long run. You know, if it breaks you, hey, this, you know, we're wrong. We over 40. It just don't work. It's just not working. And if it doesn't work, then we need to go our separate ways and, you know, just be friends. So we were able to coexist, get a good understanding for where we both wanted to go with the relationship.
And then again, we are friends, and we best friends, and that makes a difference to me. Talking about that before,
we did.
That best friends, being friends, carry you further than love will. You know, because I truly believe that love takes you so far, but you gotta be friends. You love somebody, but if you don't like them,
it's a big difference.
And let me, while we're talking about not liking people, let me ask you this question, because it seems like you all have that chemistry, that ability to enjoy each other's company. What would you say to those couples, excuse me, who were, you know, had a busy life, and so getting together and being locked down during this quarantine what would you say to them who are really struggling with, enjoying each other's company and may feel like the walls are closing in on them? What advice would you give to them?
Finding a common interest,
Mm.
finding a hobby, something that you enjoy, the other person enjoys, and try to, just elevate that from there. Because once you find a common ground, then you're able to kind of build on that common ground.
Yeah.
So I think that is so important in a relationship, whether it's laughter, we like to kid a lot. Whether it's, reading, whether it's, exercising together.
Mhm.
Once you find that common ground and keep that friendship and that best friend, important, then everything else kind of follows from there. But you got to have the friendship. You got to have the likeness, the
Yeah.
commonness. You have to be able to, my big word, coexist with one another. It's just, and grow together. It's just really important.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I said I agree. I don't agree.
You agree?
I ain't gonna agree again, but I agree. But anyway.
You don't always agree with each other, so.
Oh yeah, I agree that you gotta have that commonness because we work out together. We believe, health, is your biggest asset. So we work out together. We laugh together. People don't know she probably more of a clown than I am. But she don't clown in front of everybody like I do. I'm up in front with my clowning.
Yeah.
And she just be clowning at the house, literally. Even when I'm not clowning, I'll be like, you getting on my nerves. So yeah, I mean, just finding that commonness and just being friends and just, vibing off each other, bouncing that positive energy off each other. And any negative energy, y'all talk about it and y'all sending it on its way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for that, you grow. I
Yeah.
mean, because to me, the most prettiest things in the world are that way because of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Coral reefs, waves crashing against it. One of the most prettiest things in the world.
Yeah.
Because of the waves crashing against it all the time, but it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Adversity. So, you take that adversity and you grow from it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the adversity may break you.
Yeah.
But at least because we're not teenagers. We're not in our 20s. We're not in our 30s. In your 40s, you're like, hey, we tried. That's it. Bye. Or we tried and this works. Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going.
Right.
So,
And one of the things that I love about what you all did was you took this situation that we're in and you created an opportunity out of it, right? Like you saw it as an opportunity to create something, to do something new. Like you said, you started a business, you started the podcast, and just some other things that you've been able to do with each other. You made adjustments, so I think that's one thing that's also very important is just see this as an opportunity, like to create something new, to re-establish your relationship, or redefine your relationship. So I think it's really beautiful that you all have done that. So can you tell us more about, how you came to the point of, coming up with these business ventures and ideas? Like, how did that come about?
well, I mean, I'm a businessman.
Okay.
And always have been into extra streams of income, legal or illegal. But
I'm so ashamed.
Keeping it real, like
mostly legal. All legal.
all legal.
All legal. But and she's a career, she's corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And she bought something to that. You see what I'm saying? Because she knows the corporate in and out the way I don't know, and I know that grind in the street business in ways that she don't know, and so we join that together, and it makes it grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like uh, if you was creating a body, you got to add the arteries and the veins to let the blood flow. And you
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can have all the other things, but if you ain't got no blood, what you got? In a
Mhm.
sense. So she bought that, and then I bought that, and then we just
Put it
it
together.
started to grow. We put it together,
Yeah.
and it grew in ways that we didn't know it was gonna grow.
Right.
I mean, personally.
Mhm.
So
Right.
we were like, well, we gonna ride this horse. Ride this horse.
So the legs fall off, huh?
And again, we love to talk. So, we just sat down one day, and this was actually years ago that we sat down and we were like, hey, why don't we do a podcast?
We talked about this for a
And
minute.
we talked about it, and we
Talked
talked about it.
Talked about
And I laughed and I said, I'm not getting on no podcast with you
That
because
part.
you just do know. I'm not going to do it. And what is so funny is that I ended up being more vocal on the podcast than
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
because I am more reserved.
You are.
So most people don't know, my, I guess, funny side, or, most people
Little thug
don't.
in you.
Yeah, the little thug is right there. It's right there, right there on the shoulder, right there. So, when it's just, the jazz playing, sipping on some wine, and we just having a conversation, then I'm able to let loose. Be able to just have great conversations that we wanted to record.
Mhm.
And, have memories of those conversations years down the line. And whether, our, grandkids, our great grandkids, our family members are able to, listen to it and say, hey,
even when we gone.
right, I hear her voice. I
Exactly.
see I see him through his voice.
Mhm.
And we just did it, during the quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Because
Yeah.
we had more time, right? So it just creates an opportunity for you to just, okay, let me see what can we do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
makes
Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. And I like that you took advantage of, this time and saw and made it work for you, basically. And so one of the things that, I was thinking about as we talk about opportunity, we talk about creating, we talk about, whether this quarantine can help you grow closer or it can pull you further apart. What would you say you have learned about each other during this time?
That's interesting.
What have you learned about me?
Oh,
What have you learned about me? I'm gonna turn around.
Oh man, what have I learned about you? Well, I've learned that she, first of all, is more funnier than I ever knew.
Mhm.
First of all, I knew she was funny, but she being around her even more, I'm like, something ain't right in her head. I thought I was crazy. So, and a lot of people don't know that because right here in these walls. But I've also learned that, she loves me. She really cares for me genuinely and will ride with me, for the most part through anything. And I'm sure of that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And um, I kind of just look forward to learning more, deeper.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, okay, quarantine, go away, but I don't mind if you stay a little longer because, you know what I'm saying? We could spend that more time together. I don't want it. I know it has to change back to a certain degree, but I wouldn't mind if it stayed at. I don't regret it. I'm not bothered by it. So what? We can't really go nowhere. That works for me. You see what I'm saying? Because she makes it, I don't mind learning more and more about her.
Wow.
You see
It
what I'm
sounds
saying?
like she's a safe space for you.
she's a safe place for me.
Yeah, that's
A
beautiful.
real safe place, because I can be off the chain.
Help me. So what I've learned is totally opposite of what you have learned.
What
I've learned
you don't like?
that even crazy.
And you even crazier than she thought, though.
But I thought he was even crazier. But seriously, what I've learned, just with our conversations, I'm gonna take it a little deep. I've learned more of a Black man's struggle. I've learned where we've had so many deep conversations about how it is to be a Black man nowadays.
Yeah.
How it is to, every day I walk out the doors, the whole world is against me. So when I come in this home, you're my safe haven. This home is my humble abode. When I come here, all that stuff, racism, adversity, hardship, let down. I mean, I can go on. And it was the conversations of how hard it is for a Black man with all of the killings and the police brutality, not being able to get a fair share in the work industry. I learned more about him in that struggle. So it made me understand a Black man. Yeah. Especially this Black man. It made me understand it. And it was just so profound because I was like, whoa, I would listen to my dad growing up and I would hear him, but I didn't hear him because he was not my other. Maybe my mom heard him, but I didn't hear him. He would tell me the stories, but I just would not hear him. But hearing it from him was like deep down, so us being together, especially during this quarantine, it's given me a difference of, saying, hey, when this man walked through this door, then I'm gonna make it easy for him. I'm gonna make it to where when he walked through this door, that it's not so hard, and he doesn't have to, he can leave all that outside. Yeah. You come in this door, then I'm gonna be your safe haven. That's what I'm gonna do. So, that's what I learned, that's what we do.
Listen, I love that. And
Yeah,
then,
I love that. Turn around.
You know what?
but I love that because in this day and time, like you said,
Get in my eyes. Get in my eyes.
there's a little sweat down your eye. But in this day and time, it's so needed for a man to come home and be that and have a safe haven to come home to. Like you said, it's just so much going on out in the world, getting beat up, fearful of his life. You don't know if you're going to make it home, the next day or even the same day. So it's beautiful that you have that type of mindset and attitude where you're not fighting him, when he gets in the door. And what I hear in that is he gets to be vulnerable with you, right? You're sharing your heart, so then he gets to share his heart, and then it creates this beautiful intimacy that it seems like you all have of just being able to share, communicate, and give to one another. So I just want to salute you both and applaud you for what you're creating with each other, because I think it's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I want to throw him out the door like every other day. I'm gonna tell
Right.
you, kind of want to throw me out the window every other day, but we make it work.
Yeah. Because it doesn't mean that it has to be perfect, like, right? It doesn't mean perfection. It just means that you're learning how to navigate through, the ups and the downs. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's where a problem comes. People tend to look for that perfect or that, you know what I'm saying? That smooth pavement where everything ain't gonna be smooth all the time. Everything ain't peaches and cream all the time. But you can talk and work it out, smooth it out and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what advice would you give? Because last time we talked about singles and dating. What advice would you give to those people who are looking to have, this level of intimacy in their relationship, or just looking to get into a relationship? And, they're thinking about all this list and, checking the boxes and all that kind of stuff. What advice would you give to those who are seeking to be in a long-term relationship?
I would say, first of all, take what you think, what you don't wrote down, throw it in the trash.
Mm.
Start over. Because if you're not where you want to be, relationship-wise,
Mm-hmm.
obviously your plan needs to be redone.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. One of the definitions of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and again and expecting different results.
Mm-hmm.
You go keep getting what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think you have to find your friend. Find your friend. And I believe that most people have met their friend already.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta find that friend that not only can you be the best friend with, but you're all going to also be intimate with, and join that together. Will it be a smooth transition? No, it's never a smooth transition. But find that friend, that one that just touches you, that just, when you think about them, it reached down so far deep into you, into your kidney, your liver, all up bone marrow type. and be with that person and bump all that other bull, about this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So find that friend. It's somebody there. You see what I'm saying? It's somebody there. You can't tell me 8 billion people in the world and you can't find nobody.
Right.
It's there.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to get that friend, and then you become lovers and you join together. So now you best friends and lovers.
Mm.
That's about the best I can give on that end. Because everybody has so many stipulations, and a lot of those standards they don't even meet their dog themselves.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel that you have to find that friend, and hopefully the universe will allow you to be blessed enough to meet that, if you haven't messed that up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that person comes around to you in the universe. And if you don't mess it up, sometimes universe, you might be with yourself the rest of your life because you don't messed it up so many damn times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if the universe deem you worthy enough to send that person back around again, like in our story, send them back around again.
Mm-hmm.
Then you better take control of it. And you better hop on that mother, you know what I'm saying? You better hop on that horse and ride the hell out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I got you.
So mine is going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
I'm going to try to keep it PG-13.
I tried.
Ooh, but it's so hard because we just did a podcast on this the other day.
Okay.
Oh. I'm trying to think how to say it.
Go ahead, just let it flow, Kesia. Go ahead, girl.
13.
Which one? Oh, Lord.
How?
A man that plays around with you.
Okay.
Yeah. We gonna say the urban way of saying it.
Okay.
You could PG-13.
I want to say it. Okay, I think that it's every woman's job and every woman's responsibility when she meets a guy to uncover
a guy that's not got good intentions.
Right. I call it something else.
Yeah, we know what it's called.
I call it something else.
We know. FB.
The F boy. Go ahead.
FB boy.
Yeah. I think it's her job to uncover the FB boy.
Yeah.
Because he's out there.
Exactly.
And I really think that he thinks that you don't know that he exists.
Yeah.
It is your job to uncover him.
Okay.
Because he's out there. So, you're meeting, guys, you're meeting them here, there, everywhere, whatever, social media. And here he comes. And, once you uncover that is not the kind of guy that you want to be with, then I think that the more you keep at it, the more that you get the clues or the signs, or, he's not just that into me, he only wants that one thing, then you know what it is that you want to have in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it is that you want to have in, a spouse, a soulmate. You know those things, but the only way you're gonna know them is by going through those not so good situations, or not so good circumstances, or not so good relationships before you find the right person that's right for you. Again, we're older, so we've been through a lot, and I just think that once you uncover, like kind of piggybacking on what you said, once you find a friend, not a F boy, because there's some F girls out there too.
Yeah, girls.
It is. But once you uncover a friend, somebody that is really going to be your confidant, they're going to be the person that you want to spend your nights with. That person is the person that you want to tell all of your secrets to, all of your problems. Once you find that person, then you try to keep them. You try to keep them, because that friendship is everything. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So as we're talking about relationships during this quarantine, how to navigate through them, what would you say to a couple who wants to learn how to, really develop that friendship? Let's say they met each other and rushed into a relationship. And so, they really didn't get a chance to know each other. And so with everything slowing down, it's creating the opportunity for them to get to know each other. What are some of the things that they can do, or how do you develop a friendship?
Well, I think developing a friendship is getting to know, the other person, getting to know, their background, their childhood, their experiences that they've had, just everything. Trying to get, like, being that sponge.
Yeah.
And kind of just like trying to know and find out everything that makes that person tick.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely that. I can agree with that. Yeah. Did I say agree with you again? Oh.
You said you weren't gonna do it again.
But yeah, trying to find out that person, because sometimes you may find out it ain't gonna work.
Well, but you may,
or you're not compatible.
Right. Or you may find out that their upbringing is so different than your upbringing. Yeah. You guys may not be able to move forward
with a intimate relationship.
Right, with an intimate relationship, or a relationship of any kind.
Exactly.
Because we just don't.
Because it ain't always a happy ending.
But ask the questions.
Ask the questions.
Ask the questions about, were you raised with your parents? Your biological parents? Did you have a stepdad? Did you have a stepmom? What was what experiences you had? What
learn that person.
Just everything.
Yeah, I mean, just learn that person. Don't just stop with who you see in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Don't just and sex and all that stuff, go back. You gotta, because all that person's history makes up who they are in the present.
Right.
And if you don't know none of that,
Right.
if you rushed into a relationship, then okay, well, let's learn this about each other. You know what I'm saying? Do you know about finance? Maybe you don't. Maybe that other person educated in finance.
Right.
So that can be a big problem. What future plans do you have? What do you know?
Are you
all
a
that stuff.
communicator? Do you
Are
like
you
to communicate? You know, do you like not to discuss things?
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe you run away when it's time to
right,
discuss
yeah.
things.
You know, all of
You
those
know,
things
yeah.
play a huge part in
Yeah.
a
Do
relationship.
do you like to swing on somebody when you mad? You know what I'm saying? You need to know this then.
Right.
You
But,
see what I'm saying?
even deeper, you know, if you've been, because we've been through divorces.
Yeah, we've been.
What happened during your
During
marriage
your marriage.
that made you not still be together?
Exactly. Be
You know,
honest
what
about it.
was your
Exactly.
deal breaker
What
in
was
your
deal
marriage?
breaker?
Because
Exactly.
that's important. You know, because that could lay foundations to what you are not willing to accept or you are willing to accept in a new relationship.
Exactly.
So the more information, the more questions, the more conversations, you know, the more in depth, you know, talking to their parents, talking to their kids, talking to their friends, and getting as much information.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so,
Yeah.
so you can know that person and then you can make
Make a
an
decision.
educated decision.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay. So in these last couple of minutes that we have together, time goes by so fast.
I know, right?
So I want to just talk about your podcast. So tell us about some of the episodes that you've had. What ideas do you have coming up? Like what are some things that we can expect when we go and listen to your podcast?
Well, our podcast is not what people may think it's going to be. You know, I think some people hear a couple doing something, so they think it's all about lovey-dovey.
Right.
And it's not.
It's real. It's real honest conversation.
And we don't always agree.
That's right.
But our podcast is based on entertaining experiences that we've had, because I think that we've had a lot of experience in life.
Right.
We both have raised children. We both have been married, divorced, dealing with co-parenting, dealing with children, grown children,
Our parents.
careers, our parents getting older, parents, one of my parents died. So, I mean, we got experience. So our podcast is created off of all of that.
Right.
And we talk about those things. Whether, it's a hard pill to swallow or not, we just bring it out. And that's what we talk about.
It is raw.
It's raw.
It is funny.
Oh, it's raw.
It is real.
She off the chain.
It is real. And most important to me is I have a view on things. And my view is important. And my view is not going to be his view.
Yeah, sure, right. Because, yeah.
And there is a different view from a man and a woman, and that's why we named it.
And that's why we named it.
Her view versus his view.
Well, we named it his view versus her view.
Her view versus
his
his
her
view. So, if you have some moments, and we try to keep it short and sweet and to the point. But if you have a couple of moments, it's worth at least listening to. I've had girlfriends that have reached out to me. I've had, people that I work with, family, friends, everybody. And it's just, they call me screaming because they cannot believe that, we've talked about this particular subject.
Yeah. Right.
And secondly, we were so real on the subject. And they were like, listen, I hadn't heard anybody be so real about that subject. We have one that's sorry, not sorry. We have, what's the other one?
We have divorce, moving on.
Right. We have love during the pandemic.
Yeah, we have mess with me the long way or the short way.
Yeah, F with me.
Yeah, F with me the long way, short way.
And then uncovering the F boy.
The F boy we did last night. So we're gonna be trying to put out a new episode at least once a week. We will have a new episode once a week. We try to put it out probably midweek, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
We try to put out a new episode every week. Sometimes we may put out 2 because again, we may be driving to Atlanta or up the coast and be like talking, and we be like, press record, let's go. So, but definitely once a week we put out a new one by Wednesday. And I think people will enjoy it and be entertained.
How do you select your topics? Like, do you discuss beforehand what you're going to talk about, or is it just like a spur of the moment thing?
We do sometimes discuss far as the title,
right?
What we're going to discuss, the subject, so we can try to stay with it, so it don't be all over the place.
Shout out to a couple of my girlfriends because we'll sit down sometime and we'll have a discussion, and then I'll bring the discussion back, and then me and him will discuss it, and he will say, "No, you guys have that view, but let me give you a man's perspective." You understand what I'm saying? So we kind of, did it that way.
Vibe off of that.
Yeah, or just everyday conversation.
Yeah. So we narrow it down, and then once we narrow it down, it's all raw from there.
Yeah.
It's just
there's no practicing. It's just
play.
Hit record.
Yeah.
So once we narrow a subject down, it's all raw from there. It's off the top of the dome and your experiences in life and whatever you feel about it. And we try to keep it within 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And a lot of times it got to be a part 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I really, like I said at the top of the show, I love the vibe that you all have. I love the music in the background. I love the conversation. Like you can tell, the chemistry in the episodes. I've listened to a few of them, and I want to go back. I saw one about soulmates. I want to listen to that. So, I want to go through all of them, so that I can listen to them. So I highly encourage, if you're watching this, please check out their podcast. I'm going to post it after this live tonight. Because, this is the kind of conversations that we need to have, just listening, like you said, you and your girlfriends, me and my girlfriends get together and we talk about our perspective, but it's so important to hear, from a man's perspective. And that's why I like to have these kind of relationship conversations. So I love that you all are doing that.
Indeed.
Well, we
thank you
for
so much
having
us on your show.
Absolutely. I would love to have y'all back and just kind of piggyback on some of the stuff that you talk about. Yeah.
We appreciate what you do too.
Thank you.
Power in women and the things that you do. I see you doing your thing.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So with that being said, we are going to close out tonight. But once again, thank you all for taking the time to just sit with me and have this conversation and give us a little sneak peek of what's going on in your lives and how you've navigated through this quarantine. I hope that you've taken some nuggets away from this that you can use. And if nothing else, see this as an opportunity to get to know each other even more, to create, some business ventures or new ideas or work out together or whatever it is that you can do. Just look at this as an opportunity to do that. And, because it definitely creates that. You can have fun during this time if you're in a relationship. And if you're not, you can have fun too. So just try to find those things that you can do. So any last words that you want to share before we end tonight?
Any last words, Ms. Kesia?
No?
Well, hey, I would like to say thank y'all for listening. Thanks for this opportunity, and keep growing, no matter what.
Thank you.
All right. So this has been Relationship Talks with Shavon Carter, and we will see you next time. Good night.
Thank you, Shavon.
Thank you.
We come to see you.
Yes, y'all need to.
Yes, when you come up north.